Welcome to Mack Training Academy. I'm Professor Joey Mack. Today we're going to go through the different forms of side control, or at least the way I number it for understanding of the positions. So, my partner will lay down. Side control, let's look at it, the basis of the position. We're making either a plus sign or a T, and I want my chest at the center of his chest, okay? So as far as holding, I have what I call four. There's some variations, but you can either have two arms on the side closest to me. You can have one by the hip, elbow by the head on the far side. You can have arm under the head and arm under the armpit, like a cross face. Or you can have elbows across on the opposite side. So that's what I would call my four numbers. So for me, I have number one is hands both on the same side closest to me, giving me some of the most control. So from here, my chest is on his chest. I have my butt slightly in the air, my feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, and I put my weight on him. I don't want to be too far across, so my weight's over. I don't want to be too far off this side. I want my chest acting like there's a post going through his chest. So from here, this would be side control number one. To see that at a different angle, we'll just rotate. So you'll see my chest is on his chest. Okay, elbow underneath like a cross face, other hand by the hip bone. I want my feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, with my butt slightly in the air to put my weight into his body. So that would be side control number one. Side control number two still has a lot of control, but now I have some attacking options. We won't go over those today, that's for another video, but for what I call side control number two, I have the hand by the hip. That's blocking there. I have the other hand at the elbow at his by his ear, and my chest, again, chest to chest. So very similar to the last one. Feet shoulder width apart with my hips slightly in there, so he's carrying my weight. So that's side control number two. Side from a different angle. To see that at a different angle, so again, hand at the hip, elbow across, chest to chest, with my butt slightly in the air. Side control number two. Going into side control number three, we have now, there's some options on how I hold this one. The traditional option is where I put my knee by his hip and my knee by his head. And I have a cross face. So arm under the head, arm under the armpit, gable grip, so palm to palm, down. And what the cross face would be is with my shoulder and my arm. So the way this has variation for me, depending on how flexible you are in this position, we'll see that, actually let's look at that from the side. You'll see how far my hips are up. So knee in the hip, knee at the ear, and you'll see when I'm in this position, I'm not the most flexible, so my hip will ride a little higher. That takes my center of gravity and shifts it a little bit. So if you want to lower yourself a little bit, I'll leave my knee on the hip, and I'll let this leg go long, and you'll see how it lowered my center of gravity where my hips are. So neither is necessarily wrong, it's just different as far as how you can hold and control with your weight. Okay, so that's side control number three with the cross face. One arm under the armpit, one arm under the head. Going to side control number four, I would consider more of an attacking side control because I can isolate the arm. So for this one, I will keep for sure one knee at the hip. The other knee can do the same thing as in side control number three. It can either be up by the ear or it can be long. It just kind of depends. And so from there, what it'll be is elbow by the ear, other elbow by the hip or closer to the rib cage oblique area, and I'm going under the arm. So now I can start attacking and isolating this arm. So from there, I'm here, or again, I can let my leg go long, and now I have my isolation of their arm. Let's look at that from one other angle. Going to our side, knee in the hip, chest to chest. Knee can either be high or be out and long. Elbow by his ear, elbow by his rib cage, arm underneath. And so now I can start attacking his arm. So, sit there. So those would be what I would consider, or what I've named my four different types of side controls for where your arms sit. You can check us out on Facebook at Mack Training Academy. If you have questions, give us a comment, like, subscribe, give us a little support. We'd really appreciate it.